Hello. American citizens, international citizens, my dear Tibetan brothers, sisters, Palas and Amalas. 53 years since the Chinese illegal occupation of Tibet. 53 years of torture and torment. 53 years in exile. Lives have been lost. Families separated. Monasteries destroyed. We know that no power on earth can give back those lives lost. We know that no power on earth can give back the years of torture, torment. We know no power on earth can heal the suffering. My dear fellow Tibetans, 53 years have been long. We know we have a steep hill to climb. The road is not smooth but rugged. But we also know that until now, our dedication, our determination for our struggle has been strong and will be stronger, sturdier and powerful than ever before. Our martyrs have spent months and years behind bars in prison. But a time will come for us. 3 brave Tibetan men are sitting on an until death hunger strike in front of the UNO, calling for global intervention in Tibet's issue, calling for the release of political prisoners. A time will come for us. Patriotic Tibetan men, patriotic Tibetans are self-immolating, selflessly sacrificing their life for the cause of freedom, calling for the return of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, calling for freedom in Tibet. A time will come for us. A time will come. But for that, we know all of us have to strive hard, struggle hard. And for that, every individual present here, irrespective of nationality, we have a responsibility towards Tibet. Not because Tibet's cause is a cause of a burning, crying and a dying nation, but because Tibet's cause is a cause of humanity, it's a cause of truth, it's a cause of justice, fact and history. My dear American and international citizens, Tibet needs your help. There's a fierce urgency of now. 26 self-immolation cases. More than 15 deaths. 26. These are not just mere numbers, these are precious human lives. How many more do you want? Isn't 26 not enough for you? How many more Tibetans have to die to take your notice? UN or United Nations, Chapter 7 of the Preamble and Charter of United Nations talks about action against threat to peace, action against breaches of peace, action against acts of aggression. If that's so, United Nations, we are right now in New York City. Mr. Ban Ki-moon, we are knocking on your door. Knock, knock, knock. There's a threat to peace in Tibet. Knock, knock, knock. There's a breaches of peace in Tibet. Knock, knock, knock. There's a crime against humanity in Tibet. And knock, knock, knock. This is the best and ideal time for you to stand by your preamble and show to the world that you do justice to mankind and humanity. I stand here on behalf of 6 million Tibetan people. I stand here as a citizen of this world. And I urge, I request every institution, every nation, every country, every governing body, every individual to look into Tibet's matter. My dear international friends, look in the eye of Tibetans around you. You'll see that we have fact, we have history, we have truth, we have dedication. What we don't have is time. What we don't have is the audacity to lie in front of the world as China does. What we don't have is the audacity to buy people, let them come to welcome one's own president and prime minister as China does. What we don't have is the audacity to fabricate news and spread to the world as China does. Tibetan citizens all around the world, I repeat, what we don't have is time, because now is the time and now is the moment. Younger Tibetan generations, we have hopes of our elders. We have a question of this generation, and we have a responsibility of this generation. We have a responsibility towards the future generation of Tibet. Being in exile, in a free country, we can exercise democratic freedom. We can stage protests. We can showcase our culture. We can exhibit our culture. We can make sure that the world knows and talks about Tibet. We can make sure that your neighbors know and talk about Tibet. We can make sure that your friends know and talk about Tibet. Tape, 19 years old. Nangdril, 18 years old. Kesawanchu, 17 years old. These are a few of the teenagers who were born under Chinese occupation, under Chinese regime, still stood up against China, raising their voice for freedom. 17 years old. Age young enough to be your son or your daughter. 17 years old, having not lived even a quarter of their life. 17 years old, the age where usually teenagers go around partying and enjoying life. I quote here Tirinki, a 19 years old middle school girl who self-immolated recently. She said, and I quote, "There's no meaning in living a life if we do not do something for Tibet." She said, "There's no meaning in living a life if we do not do something for Tibet." Such is the resentment, such is the mental torture in the minds of Tibetans within Tibet. But this is sending a resounding message to the world, letting us know, letting the world know that no matter what happens from generation to generation, the torch of Tibetan freedom struggle is passed on, and the flame and the spirit will never die, will never extinguish. I would like to take this opportunity to send a message to our brethren across the globe in Tibet, that we are all together in this, that we will answer your call, that we have same future, we have same target, we have same destiny. Your movements, your acts of resistance matter to us, and your sacrifices will never go in vain. Your sacrifices are always in our heart. Now when we go back to our homes tonight, after this gathering, there are certain things each one of us have to keep in our mind. The struggle is not yet over. Between now and Tibet's freedom, we have to make sure that we keep on with our struggle for independence, we keep on with our movements for free Tibet. Between now and Tibet's freedom, we have to make sure that the world knows and talks about Tibet. Between now and Tibet's freedom, we have to make sure that our culture, our language, when we, the Tibetans, can all get together in a free and independent nation called Tibet. Thank you. Back